So in February of 2015, teenager Maximilian Schmidt gets arrested with almost 700 pounds of different products, worth a total of $2.5 million. But after just a few weeks, the police get lucky when they find his password on a piece of paper in his room, and it turns out that Max had already sold well over $5 million worth of product to customers all around the world. So not only did Max secure more than 2,000 pounds of product in total, but he also managed to get only 7 years in juvenile detention, even though he was already 19 at the time of his arrest. Now, while most news stories mention that Max made around $5 million in total, they often forget that the police recovered around 1,197 bitcoins from his wallets, which at today's valuation of around $47,000 comes down to a total value of around $56 million. So hit that like button if you love holding crypto. By the way, this does not even include the amount of Bitcoin that Max still has in several wallets that the police could not access, so the total Bitcoin value could actually be much higher. Now some people might say, yeah, that high valuation is nice, but how do we know that Max would have actually kept all the Bitcoins without spending them? Well, we actually do know this because during the 14 months that Max ran his online shop, he never spent any of the money that he made. Max was not living the Lambo lifestyle that you see ransomware guys and fake gurus live. No, Max was still living at home with his mom, spending only the money he got from recycling bottles. So basically, he was living the perfect life for someone who's involved in this particular, let's say, creative industry. Because he was staying under the radar and not drawing any attention to himself. And not only that, but the main goal of this adventure was never to get filthy rich. He just wanted to see if he could actually do it and if he could build the best online drugstore. So how did Max build this thriving business and why did he get caught? Well, this all started with the infamous Silk Road. You see, Maximilian was not exactly the sweet innocent little boy that turned into a major criminal overnight. No, he was already involved with internet crimes long before he started Shiny Flakes. Max started out with some small hacks here and there and selling account information online to other hackers and scammers, and while doing so, he got introduced to Silk Road by a fellow hacker. And when he looked at the platform, it sparked immediate interest with him. Max took one look at Silk Road and like a true hacker, he saw the flaws and vulnerabilities and he wanted to capitalize on them. This is shown in the meticulous way he went about improving the site, because before he launched his own site, he first ordered some samples which he used to take photos with, and Max really put in some effort to make them look good. People were even leaving reviews saying, the only reason I ordered was because it looked so yummy. This was already a major update to the competition that were still using very basic and unappealing photos. But it was not the only upgrade that Max made. He actually went full kamikaze mode by putting his site out in the open. Nowadays, Instagram, Snapchat and Telegram are widely used to offer product to customers in the open, but back then, the only sites that offered these products were on the dark web and you needed a Tor browser to access them. Now obviously, there are far more people that don't use or even know about Tor than there are actual Tor users. So this means that you can access a much larger market, and one of the great tools to help you with that is Google. Since pretty much nobody was offering these products online in the open, every Google search for how to buy or where to buy products led straight to Shiny Flakes, and with the review options on the site, the popularity quickly spread. Max started getting orders from day one, and what started out with just 5 to 10 orders a day quickly escalated to well over 100 orders a day. Without realizing it, Max had created a monster that was now ruling his life. He had so many orders coming in that he could not do anything else, and his entire life consisted of sleeping as little as 3 to 4 hours a day to then wake up, package and ship orders all day long. He did this every single day, 7 days a week, which resulted in Max earning well over $100,000 a day. Before we continue, please like and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Most of the money he made was placed in various Bitcoin wallets, of which some still hold some serious amounts of Bitcoin, and the rest of the money was laundered through a business that pretended to build websites. So by now it's pretty clear that the platform that Max had built was an instant success, and that it would have easily done well over $1 million in sales daily. But how was he able to do this in the open? And what was it that ended his 14-month winning streak? Well, for starters, as with all drug-related online crimes, you turn to the Dutch. Not only is the Netherlands one of the biggest exporters in Europe, the Dutch are also excellent at providing total anonymity concerning servers, phones, houses, pretty much anything you don't want your name attached to. Now, for obvious reasons, I'm not going to give you a step-by-step tutorial on how Max had set up his website, but it basically comes down to this. He first rented an anonymous server in the Netherlands, and unlike most hosting providers, these servers let you pay with Bitcoin and only require an email address to set up. Now the second step that he took and this one actually frustrated the hell out of the police department, which was using the services of Cloudflare. You see, it's well known that websites that attract a lot of traffic will eventually suffer from attacks, and especially an online drugstore that operates in the open, since competitors will not like it that you are stealing clients away. The police department did not know this, and they thought Max only did this to hide his identity. They contacted Cloudflare to give up the client information, but as stated in the Cloudflare terms of service, they are obligated to report any information request back to the client, so this would obviously alert Max, and therefore the police department cancelled the request. They were now back to square one. Now the police are being purposely vague about how they got on Max's trail, but from the information released, it seems as if they had arrested a wholesaler in the Netherlands and were surveying his delivery guys. This led them to watch several package stations in the city of Leipzig in Germany, and this is where they saw Max collecting several large packages. Eventually, they started surveying his house, and after collecting enough evidence, they arrested him in a raid where they caught him red-handed packaging new orders. So in the end, Maximilian actually got off pretty easy, since he only served about 4 years of a 7-year sentence, which he spent in a juvenile facility and not a maximum security prison. In the US, Max would have probably gone anywhere from 30 years all the way up to life, since he broke pretty much every law, ranging from money laundering to trafficking and quite possibly running a criminal organization. So I guess kids, the moral of the story is, if you're gonna do the crime, do it in Germany. This was how teenager Max ran a $1 million drug business. Please like and subscribe to the channel for more videos.